And welcome in, y'all, to a live episode of Locked On Bulls. I'm Matt. That's Big Dave. We're here on Wednesday night following the Bulls' loss to the Philadelphia 76ers in Philly. Up ahead on today's show, we're breaking down the loss. Another epic comeback. This one falls short. Some questionable possessions for the Bulls in the fourth quarter. And somebody put out a missing child milk carton for Nikola Vucevic. That's all ahead on a fresh Locked On Bulls. Let's go.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Here are your hosts, Matt Peck and Big Dave Watson.
What's up, and welcome into Locked On Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm Matt Peck. You can follow me on Twitter at Bulls_Peck. You can follow my co-host Big Dave, that guy, at BAW, B-A-W-L Sports, and you can follow us at Locked On Bulls. Shoot us a text or leave us a voicemail at 331-979-1369. Today's episode is brought to you in part by McDonald's, proudly serving communities since 1965. McDonald's has always been there, and it's always been more than just a place to get tasty, affordable food. It's an unofficial community center. A big thank you to our friends at McDonald's for always being there. I'm loving it. You know what I'm not loving, Big Dave? Is that result tonight in Philly. The Bulls lose the first end of a home against the Sixers. Embiid missing a lot of his co-stars. No Simmons still, no Tobias Harris, no Danny Green. But credit to his supporting staff, short as they were. And man, you know, we'll get into what the Bulls were doing tonight and especially some of that fourth quarter stuff once they made the comeback. But the stones on Seth Curry to hit that shot to push their lead back up to 4, man. I was watching Zoe D him up, and I was like, okay. And then they try to get the switch, and then Caruso. I was convinced the Bulls were going to come up with a steal on that possession. And Seth Curry said, nope, how about I put this dagger right down your face?
And he did it all game long. All of them did it all game long. Thibault was hitting. When Thibault's hitting threes, that's kind of the omen right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, this dude's a 30% shooter from three, and he was just draining them tonight. But the Bulls killer and Sabine's favorite, Furkan Korkmaz, was just what is it about him?
And what about, dude, Niang? Niang was on fire tonight. Good God.
I don't know. I mean, they were hitting the toughest threes. You know what I mean? Like, they were contested. At one point at the end of the first half, I believe they were over 50% from the 3-point line, and they just continued on after that. Like, you're going to struggle. We talked about it in the Celtics game. When you're shooting 65% from the 3-point line, yeah, okay. I'm like, you know what? It might be your night. You know what I'm saying? It might be your like that. So, but Matt, as bad as the Bulls, I mean, they played bad. I mean, the 3-point shooting was terrible. The fourth quarter, mishaps, I'm sure we'll get into. Vuce, I'm sure we'll get into, struggling and things like that. And then I look at the score and they lost by 5. Yeah. I'm like, how? They had no business being in that game, but nobody told the Bulls they shouldn't be in this game. And they actually had a shot to win it, just fell short, and they'll get another chance to do it again in a couple of days.
Yeah, and I can't wait for that. Bulls and Sixers rematch on Saturday. That one will be back home at the UC. Like the game in Boston on Monday, I felt like when the Bulls were making that run, like end of the third quarter, you were like, we're not all the way out of this. And then early fourth quarter run, there it is again. Once again, shout out to big plays from Derrick Jones Jr. and Tony Bradley. Big minutes off the bench. It's like the Bulls bench still struggling to contribute in the putting the ball in the basket variety of ways, but making big plays that are momentum swinging plays that get the Bulls out and get them into some of those transition opportunities after the stops to cut into that lead. It's what we saw Monday. It's what we saw again tonight. But I mean, let's not bury the lead, man. Yeah. Vooch, 4 points on 7 shots. No. I think it's starting to get into his head a little bit. Like, and again, credit where it's due. I see people in the comments already, like, give him credit for the defense he played on Embiid tonight. I thought more often the Bulls' problem defensively came when they did try to double Embiid, and he, with his solid passing ability, found his shooters who made the Bulls pay. Vooch, yeah, Embiid got the better of him a few times, but I mean, what was Embiid tonight? I think he was like, 6 of 18, 1 of 5 from downtown, 18 points. You'll take that from Embiid any night of the season where you're going up against him.
Yeah,
But
absolutely. Because go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, well, you go ahead.
I was saying, yeah, we talked about that on the last show, right? If
Yeah.
Embiid's gonna do his thing, then you expect the way for Vooch to contribute was points. We both didn't think it would be defensively. I'm like, how do you stop that monster? Well, he figured out a way to stop him. He figured out a way to irritate him and get under his skin. 18, 9, and 7 is good if you're a point guard, but when you're the center of the team and the focal point and the MVP candidate, you held him well below his average, and you frustrated him. And so kudos to Vooch, you know what I'm saying, as far as that is concerned. On the negative side though, Matt, I mean, 7 shots, that just ain't gonna cut it, man. I don't know why he refused to post up against Embiid. I didn't see him posting up a lot. It was a lot of 3-point shots and a lot of staying outside, shooting those. Anytime Stacey King starts comparing your offensive game to what Larry Markkinen is doing or was doing when he was with the Bulls, that's the red flag of doom right there. That should let you know that he was having a tough night. And he was right. Like it was no pick and roll. It was all pick and pop for him. Mm-hmm. He was picking and standing back to the 3-point line, picking and staying out on the elbow. But he just really did struggle. Maybe I kind of want to chalk it up to, him being tired maybe because of the game that they came back in Boston and things like that. So we'll see what he looks like after 2 days rest. But no, he did not play well tonight. No, not on the offensive end.
Yeah, I mean, look, I have faith that the shooting slump at some point will end. Like, Vooch is too talented of an offensive player for this to last that much longer. At least that's what I think, and that's what I hope. Coming into tonight, he was shooting 39% from the field and 30% from downtown. Like, that's not what you expect from a multi-time all-star who, like, in addition to what he can do damage-wise in the post scoring, it's a 40% shooter from downtown last season. Fact. You need that other place to go to get a bucket, especially in these first 10 or 15 games of the season, where, as Billy Donovan has said multiple times, they're still trying to figure out how to play together offensively. And it's not all going to snap into place right away. So tonight, as Vooch continues to struggle to find his shot, as the Bulls, to their credit, made that comeback, and a DeRozan mid-range ties the game, early fourth quarter. From that point on, it was okay. Vooch isn't giving us anything. None of these bench guys really giving us anything tonight, and it was just DeMar and Zach. My turn, your turn, my turn, your turn, my turn, your turn, and especially with Zach forcing some of that, and that's what you don't want, because the result is, they put up a graphic, I think, somewhere down the stretch of that fourth. The Bulls went somewhere between 3.5 and 4 minutes without a field goal in the last 6 minutes of the fourth. You can't have that to pull off that magnitude of a comeback.
Yeah, and they had it, Matt, after they came back and took the lead for the first time and made it 89-87, and then they went on that drought that you just said, like right after that. So yeah, it was tough, man. I wasn't happy with Zoe's game tonight either. I didn't like the way he played tonight. I thought he made way too many turnovers, and the 3-point shot that he did where he didn't take it, thank you, where he was on the baseline and he just faked it, dropped the ball down, you know what I'm saying, and like he was gonna go. I was like, what? No, bro, like no, what is this? No, this is not what we do. He was, I knew coming in, Matt, that he wasn't great at driving to the bucket. That was one of the things I said on the show. When he drives to the bucket, it's because he's not looking to score. He's looking to pass all the time. So we've seen him do that a few times this year, passing up layups and things like that. This game, it was worse because he was driving and just turning it over. You know what I'm saying? And it just was not helpful tonight. And it's the worst game I've seen him play so far. Him and Vooch, honestly, it's the worst games I've seen those guys play. And why I can smile, Matt, is because I'm like, the Bulls had a chance to win the game. That's why I can still sit here, like, okay, yeah, we played bad. Like, guys, it was tough, man, dude. It was a hard one. Wait, they lost by 5? Like, and that's why I can still have some, joy in my heart about it. But yeah, I'm not gonna bury that lead,
Bless
like you said at all.
bless your heart for always looking at that silver lining, always thinking
Hi, man.
positively.
Hi.
Yeah. I mean,
Goodness
and hey,
gracious.
and any game on the road in the NBA is a tough game to win.
Mm.
Yeah, whoever Embiid's teammates were on the floor that night. All right. I want to talk more about Zach because there's a lot to break down in the game that we saw him have tonight. Like it was Jekyll and Hyde in the third quarter and the fourth quarter. And there's also the stuff about his thumb. And I want to get into that too a little bit. Before we do that, we're all here psyched that the NBA is in full. We're halfway through the NFL season. College football's rolling along. NHL's going on, if that's your thing. There's so many sports to watch. So who has time to go shop for car parts? Nobody. I don't. I know Dave doesn't. I know you probably don't either. Why do you want to go to a chain store? Why do you want to go to a car dealership? Because your car needs a new muffler or a new this or a new that. Maybe you should get those parts online so you can keep sitting on your couch watching sports and hanging out with us here on Locked On Bulls. That's why you need Rock Auto. And
Yes.
by the way, you're going to save a bunch of money when you do it. Why choose to spend 30%, 50%, even 100% more for the exact same parts from a chain store or dealership when you can get them right at home at your desk at rockauto.com? Rock Auto is a family business serving do-it-yourselfers for over 20 years. Their prices are reliably low for every single customer. They've got everything you could need: brake parts, tail lamp, motor oil, even new carpet. So go explore their easy-to-use website today to find the solution to all of your auto parts needs and then get back to watching the game. Go to rockauto.com right now. See all the parts available for your car or truck. And be sure that you write Locked On in their How Did You Hear About Us box so they know we sent you. Maybe even put in parentheses, other than this one time, I came here because of the beautiful dulcet tones of Big Dave's singing voice. Because I'm not doing that for you. That's his thing. But you can still put it in their How'd You Hear About Us box. Be like, oh, Big Dave sang it to me. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. RockAuto.com.
Oh, boy, you are hilarious. Guys, it's that time. And you know what it's time for? It's time to spend some money so you can make some money. That's the way it works in this world. And the best way to do it is to go to Bet Online because they are back and better than ever with that new web interface for the start of the basketball season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. Bet Online remains your number one spot for all your basketball and football action this season. So head to that new updated desktop or mobile website and sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Now make sure you just use that promo code Locked On to receive your bonus. That's that promo code Locked On, and you'll receive that 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Basketball, football, baseball postseason, even though it's over, why don't you bet on what's going to happen next year? You can do that. NHL, boxing, UFC, your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait, man. Take advantage of all the amazing offers available for the 2021 season. Bet Online is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. Bet Online, where the game starts. Sports.
All right, moving along. Want to talk about some Zach LaVine stuff. We'll also, at the back end of the show, get to some of the comments of those of you hanging out with us here on YouTube. And while you're watching, hit the like button and the subscribe button if you aren't subscribed already. All right, so Big Dave, we know that Zach is playing through this partially torn ligament in his left thumb, his non-shooting hand. And I think through the few games, I think it's been 3 games now, maybe even 4, since we learned about that, you can kind of notice it. And Billy Donovan has said, I'm pretty sure Zach is not himself right now. He is playing through an injury that's bothering him. Sure. And you can tell in the way that, like, Zach is usually a very sure-handed ball handler, even with his offhand, with his left hand. He is not right now. And shout out to our guy Darnell Mayberry of The Athletic, because he posted a video on Twitter during the game tonight saying it was after a possession where Zach's coming back down the other way, and he like kind of slipped on a double clutch or something, and he said, like, if you do some lip reading, it kind of looks like Zach is saying, like, man, I can't even hold the damn ball right now, referencing that weak thumb on his left hand. He's not driving with his left like he usually is confident doing. Even when he is driving from the left, he's still finishing or trying to finish with the right. I feel like maybe there is a compounding, situation here where because he's trying to play through this injury that's hindering his game, he's forcing it a little bit. Because in the third quarter, we saw Zach getting buckets on buckets, keeping the Bulls in a game that they had no business being in, right? And then the fourth quarter rolls around, and what did we see? We see 18, 19, 20, 20 Zach LaVine forcing it and forcing it and forcing it. And we're like, dude, you don't need to force it anymore. You see this dude DeMar DeRozan over here? He's on fire. He's on fire. Just let him run the offense, man. Let him get his looks and let him be the primary ball handler. And Zach was forcing it in the fourth quarter, and it was really tough to watch.
Wait, DeMar was on what?
Fire!
It's amazing.
He's on fire!
I mean, you're absolutely right. It was the first game we've really seen him do that this season, right? Where he was just forced things and was just trying to force the situation. I think also, Matt, he was frustrated once again by not getting foul calls. So I think what did he take, about 4 like free throw? Like it wasn't a lot. Like DeMar DeRozan, he was living at the free throw line here.
Zach took 4 free throws tonight.
4, 3 or 4 from the free throw line. So when you're injured and you going to the cup and you're getting hit, and he was getting fouled. Seth Curry was getting away with some stuff.
Oh my God. Seth Curry took the refs out to a steak dinner last night, apparently. My Lord.
A meal of food. He's hooking them up, man. But my goodness, like the things he was getting away with was amazing. It was so frustrating to Zach that I think that's when he started forcing things. You know what I'm saying? That's when he started saying, you know what, forget it. I'm going to go do it this way. It's got to be frustrating knowing you can't really grip a ball, knowing you can't go to a certain hand. But then at the same time, when you're getting hit, you can't get to the free throw line to get yourself, some easy points and to help your team. I start thinking about when do you sit Zach? You know what I'm saying? Because I think if the Bulls had gotten off to like a 10-1 start or something like that, you'll be like, or if they get off, if they still can get off to a 10-2, you know what I'm saying, a big start like that. Do you say, yo, Zach, take a couple games? You know what I'm saying? Like take a couple games, rest yourself a little bit. You know what I mean? Because it's not gonna get better. It's only gonna get better with rest. It's gonna heal over time and things like that. And the beauty, but you just gotta love Zach, Matt, because even with that said, he's still like 25, 27. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what he's doing. He's gonna score, and it's hard to stop him from doing that. But if you're that good at scoring and you're playing that well, but we know you're still not 100%, you're a very, very good basketball player. And kudos to Zach LaVine for that. But yeah, that thumb, Matt, it's clearly a hindrance to his progression.
And yes, like credit to Zach for being tough and wanting to be a part of this winning team right now and saying, I'm playing through this. But, and I think I saw some, like the Bulls, because he's playing through it, never gave any timeline as far as the thumb ligament and how long it will heal. Some doctor on Twitter said, if this injury is what I think it is, you're looking at maybe a 4 to 6 week timeline until that thing fully heals. But if you're playing through it, playing every other night or 3 games a week or 4 games a week, is it going to heal in 4 to 6 weeks, or is it going to get worse? And does it require surgery? And if you go that route, then how long until you come back recovering from that surgery to fix it? Like, this is a very dicey scenario that Zach and the Bulls are in. And I hate that they're in it because the Bulls are 6-2, could easily be 8-0, give or take a bucket here or there. Seriously. And for half of those games, Zach's playing with one hand behind his back. Right. Like, seriously. We're not even seeing a full Zach LaVine right now. And this is where we are. So I don't know, man. I am very nervous about this whole thing. I'm sure that you are sitting over there saying, it'll be fine. Maybe, at some point the Bulls will give Zach a couple of games off. The thumb will be fine. He'll play through. I'm sitting here like stewing in nerves to be like, why couldn't he just have a healthy thumb, please?
I think that's what he's thinking. Like, he's like, I've waited pretty much my whole career to have this opportunity and this kind of team, you know what I'm saying, to play on. and then this thumb thing, I want to deal with that. That's not going to stop me. You know what I'm saying? From dealing with this stuff like that, because Zach is made from a different kind of stock. Like he is a tough dude. You know what I'm saying? He that's who he is. He's always been that kind of guy. But also, Matt, I think the fact that Vooch didn't have a great game also is why Zach was forcing a lot of things as well. Because in the fourth quarter, there were a couple of possessions where Vooch was open for three. And Zach didn't even think about giving him the basketball. He was like, no, you're not getting it. Not even looking at you, man. Like, so that also hurt. So it was just kind of worst case scenario night. You know what I'm saying, for Zach LaVine. You know what I mean? You're not getting the calls. Your guys around you aren't scoring except for DeMar DeRozan. And we still need to depend on you to win this basketball game. It was a lot of worst case scenarios to Zach. And credit to him. He tried. But, man, it's tough, man. But I feel you being nervous. You're right, though. I'm over here like, they'll give him a couple days. Like, he'll be okay. You know what I'm saying? But it is right to be concerned about it, because it is concerning for sure.
It's just, it just seems like a situation that is like we're just kind of having a nice stroll through the woods, and then there's a cliff over there that none of us are really looking at. But and like just there were some possessions in that fourth that stuck out. Zach, as the Bulls made that comeback, had a baseline air ball that was a really tough shot over a contest. There was one the Lonzo turnover that you mentioned, where he got the pass in the corner and did double jump with the ball. Yeah. That came on a Zach LaVine drive where he leapt and had nowhere to go and chucked it to Lonzo with a second left on the shot clock. That I think should have counted as a Zach turnover. That was Zach. You said Lonzo had 5. Zach also had 5 tonight. And then that one offensive rebound the Bulls get, and then he took a quick 3. Stacey chided him for that one on the broadcast. I didn't love that quick trigger either. But the one that drove me the most crazy was the Bulls had a transition opportunity, and Zach and DeMar both ended up in the same corner on the right side. On the ball side, I think Caruso had the ball. Zach and I was like, why are you? And then they both called for the ball, and then DeMar cleared out. It was like, okay, Zach wants the ball. Zach got the ball. Zach didn't score the ball. I was like, this is last year bullshit that I do not need right now. Figure it out. But again, we're not even 10 games into the season. I have faith in Billy Donovan and his staff to make those end of game situations go a little bit more. I just, it was like watching a previous life version of Zach tonight in the fourth quarter, and it was tough to watch. Okay. Some good news as far as Bulls and injury situation that we did get before tip-off tonight. So we'll talk about that and get to some of y'all's comments in just a minute. First, though, I mentioned it at the top of the show. We want to give a shout out to our great friends at McDonald's with those delicious, yummy eats at such wonderfully reasonable prices. This episode is brought to you by McDonald's, proudly serving communities since 1965. McDonald's has always been more than just a place to get tasty, affordable food. It's a place where friends and family can come together and reconnect. A place where classmates can meet up for a study group, knowing they'll have dependable Wi-Fi and endless supplies of French fries and McFlurries. That's brain food for studying right there. Win or lose, it's a place where teammates, competitors, the home team, or the away team can come to recharge, unless you're a Packer, and then you're not invited. It's the place you always look forward to stopping at on a long road trip to rest your legs, stretch your legs, and refuel. So head to your local McDonald's to refuel and reconnect. Did somebody say Locked On Bulls watch party? Maybe we should do that at a Mickey D's sometime. I'm down. I'm loving it. God, I want some McDonald's French fries so bad right now. I did that ad read and my mouth started watering. It's not fair. I need to order some McDonald's on delivery app. Hey, is Postmates? Postmates is a sponsor too. Postmates, send me some McDonald's.
Do it. Hey, do it.
So I see a lot of people in the comments saying, Coby, XX Lintuck says we need Coby. Matt Lennon saying when Coby gets Zach back, can play fewer minutes. Maybe, but clearly they're once again tonight when you're like, is anyone else going to score a bucket? Your brain automatically goes to, hey, how's Coby White doing? And the answer is we got some good news updates there earlier today, Big Dave. The Bulls confirming that Coby White has been cleared to start contact in practice. partial
Ooh.
contact. We're not talking full 5-on-5 yet, but Coby has reached the next stage to be cleared to start taking some contact in practice. So everybody keep crossing those fingers. That seems like good news. We could be on that same trajectory for what we initially thought would be a late November return for Coby White. And hey, if the next week or so goes well, maybe even sooner.
You know what's funny, Matt? Last game, when Ayo, got his 14, all up and down Twitter, all I'm seeing is trade Coby. Get him out of here. Get rid of him. And, you got to trade Coby, all right? We got a guy. It's not going to fit. We're good. One game, and not even one game, the next game. You're like, where's Coby? We need Coby. Like, we got to have him. This is why I love Bulls fans, man. Living and dying by the moment. Coby, listen, I can't wait for him to get back because you just see the glaring need. I don't care if the Bulls go out and have a good game scoring off the bench. What Coby gives you is consistency and a consistent threat. And I'm not talking about him scoring all the time. I'm saying a consistent threat that teams have to game plan for. They can't just leave him wide open. He won't just get wide open shots. You got to put somebody on him so that can free up some things around him like that. So I'm excited, Matt. That is very good news to know that he can take some partial contact and get back in there because he is sorely needed. The Bulls were on a drought this game. There was one point, I can't remember, was it like 15-2 on the bench scoring for a little bit? Like it was tough, man. Like guys were struggling to score. I think up until Ayo hit that big old 3 in the fourth quarter. Shout out to Ayo for being clutch once again. But yeah, Matt, Coby White is going to help tremendously for this team, man. And yeah, I love how they're doing it. They're being patient with him. They're taking their time because they know how important he is. They're not rushing him back. And they're being honest and they're being clear and thorough with this. They're not saying, "Oh, we'll see." Like, yeah, he might be able to shoot. We don't know. We got to see it. No, he's partial contact. That's the next step. Let's go from there.
And please hurry back.
Yes.
In the comments, Darius said, "Boy, can I imagine having a walking 15 points off the bench right now?" Yeah, it would be nice, wouldn't it? Would be nice. Shout out to Vile Offender on YouTube who said, "Our stars just need to learn to work together to maximize their talents. That will come in time." What a reasonable take. Thank you. Some people in the comments and people on Twitter are like, "Oh God, this game we can't afford to lose. Look at the schedule. The Bulls, we should." There's somebody in the comments. I'm calling you out, Patrick Demarasi, talking about LaVine not deserving the max and his bad decision making, and comparing him to Melo and Brody, and saying if it weren't for DeMar, the Bulls would be 2-6 right now. Hey, Patrick, guess what? The Bulls do have DeMar, and we're 6-2.
Yeah.
And why don't you calm down about Zach's contract? Because that's not a concern right now. I'm pretty sure it's not a concern to Zach LaVine right now. So why are you worried about it?
Ooh, getting on him right now. Y'all just got to chill, Bulls fans. It's okay. We lost a game. You ain't seen them. It's a game. After they won 4 in a row, they lost the game. And then they won 2 more, and then they lost the game. These things happen in the NBA. Relax. It's 6-2. That's a very, very good record. I don't know if you know that. That's a very, very good record, though, man. And then they get another opportunity to go back up against this team and redeem themselves at home. So let's see what it looks like, man. Let's just keep this train moving, see what it looks like, and get to the next game. It's all right. Man.
Jake on YouTube said, "Why don't the Bulls just win every game ever? Easy solution to make the fans happy." Yeah,
right.
I mean,
they're gonna lose one, and then it's gonna explode. You know what's gonna happen.
When you think about the fact that now the Bulls, okay, come home from Philly, you got Thursday, you got Friday, you got shoot around Saturday. Hopefully, somewhere there, Thursday or Friday, Billy's gonna have a solid practice with his guys. They're gonna look at some tape of probably especially that fourth quarter, and then also that sluggish part of the first quarter where it was like, dude, what? Oh, my Bulls are struggling. Like, they didn't even score 20 points in the first quarter, which is not the first time they've done that this season, Dave. They got to figure out a way to get the offense going sooner so you don't have to come back from 18 or 19 or 20 in the third and the fourth every night. But they'll watch some game film with Billy and the staff. They'll go through some motions. They'll have a good practice. And then you get to play this team again on your floor. And guess what? There's actually going to be excited Bulls fans there to see you play because we are, as a fan base, engaged once again.
Yes. It was great, Liz. Like you talked about this last time, Matt, turning on sports radio and hearing everybody just be excited about the Bulls. When I turned it on today, I was cracking up because I was listening to the Bernstein-Rahimi show, and Dan Bernstein was just like, well, it was like noon, and he was just like, well, all I know is 6 hours till the Bulls play.
Yeah, right? I heard that too.
Yeah, man. He was like, I'm already breaking stuff down in my head and things like that. Like, that's the excitement we haven't seen in a while. And remember, you gotta remember the guys that this was coming from. I remember when Bernstein was always called a hater. Like, as far as Bulls are concerned, like, he was just always called that. He said, no, it doesn't bring. He said, it doesn't bring me joy.
Right.
About the Bulls and this demeanor. Same with Matt. It's the same way. Like, people call
I've been called Bernstein Jr. in our iTunes ratings before.
It's
just
not
a hater. Just a Bernstein mini-me hater.
Oh my gosh. They don't like losing. They don't like incompetence. It's just really that simple. And it comes out like that. But you see, when they're winning, what do you get? All this happiness and all this joy.
Because like I was listening to that myself. Shout out to Bernstein and Rahimi. I was listening to that same as you, Dave. And when Bernstein said that about like, yeah, it's noon and I'm already breaking down this Bulls like Sixers game and like looking at my watch, I was like, I feel seen because that's how I feel. I was like, dude, 6 o'clock tip off? Yes, one fewer hour to wait until we get to watch Bulls basketball. That's wonderful. So we can sit here after a tough road loss like that and say, man, Vooch, you got to step it up. Man, Zach, stop forcing it with those, fourth quarter possessions. Wait for this team to gel offensive. We can nitpick while we watch, but the fact that we are all engaged and excited to watch and happy to watch, guys, it's a brand new world. It's a brand new world. It's a whole new world. It's a wonderful thing. All right, that's it. We'll keep it short tonight. I know Big Dave is fighting. He's been drinking tea all day, trying to fight off this little scratch in his throat. And I got to break this episode down to get ready to post so that I can catch a jet plane and go hang out with my nieces for the weekend.
Hope he comes back.
Because, if there's one thing I love more than the Bulls, it's hanging out with the precious little ones who are going to get some delicious new Bulls outfits that Uncle Matt's bringing for him. Thanks to everybody for hanging out with us in the YouTube comments today. Once again, like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want to get all of our videos pinged at you anytime we drop a new one. Fresh episodes every week, Monday through Friday, because we're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, which is your team every day. In the meantime, hit us up on Twitter. I'm at Bulls_Peck. He is at Bow, BAWL Sports. We are at Locked On Bulls. You can also hit us up on that text and voicemail line, 331-979-1369. Also, emails lockedupbulls@gmail.com. We got a fresh mailbag episode coming for you on Friday to bring y'all into the weekend. So stay tuned for that as well. That's it. That's Dave. I'm Matt. We'll get him on Saturday, Bulls fans, and then we'll be back on Monday for more Bulls talk. See you, Red. Be good. Peace out.
Go Bulls.
Vooch.